What if strength isn't about fighting harder, but about learning when to stand firm, when to soften, and when to finally let go? During the powerful new moon eclipse in Leo, we are in Leo's third decan, where the energy of the Seven of Wands reminds us that success sometimes requires perseverance and protection. But Leo's strength card offers another perspective. One of true power comes not from domination, but from compassion, courage, patience, and mastery over our instincts. When we take a look at David Wells's card for strength, we see that he calls it 19th path, strength/lust, with the keywords of defending the weak, peacekeeping, sincerity. As he tells us in his guidebook, this is where we are confronted with our own shadow self. The stories we have told ourselves, the stories of lack, of being less than. Now, when we take a look at the diagram of the Tree of Life, we can see path 19 runs back and forth across the Tree of Life between the blue sapphire on the pillar of mercy and the red sapphire on the pillar of severity. This is often referred to as the top part of the soul triangle, which we can see in this card of David Wells. Now, he gives the soul triangle the keywords of mystical, soul-led, and harmony. So the theme of this path could be seen as courage, as heart-centered power, where strength balances mercy, which is Chesed, the blue sapphire, and discipline, Gevurah, the red sapphire. Leo teaches that true strength arises from compassion, not domination. When we look at his card for the blue sapphire, Chesed, which is called mercy or loving kindness, as I said, it's associated with the color blue, as well as the planet Jupiter, and has keywords like abundance, gratitude, and big ideas. Here we might ask questions like, how can I give more fully? Where is generosity needed? How can I open my heart? Am I giving too much or too little? When we take a look at his card for the red sapphire, Gevurah, which is called severity or strength, of course, we see it's associated with the color red, but also the planet Mars, and has keywords like might, discipline, and karma. And here the questions we might ask are, what needs a boundary? What must I say no to? What limits are necessary? Where are my boundaries weak or rigid? So, as we saw, the path is path 19, and all the paths have actually been allocated a Hebrew letter. In the case of path 19, the Hebrew letter is Tet, or Teth, depending on the spelling that people have associated with it. Teth means snake, and its core lesson is one of transformation. This is where we face our shadow and discover hidden strengths within it. As strength has a core lesson of true power coming through compassion, patience, and mastery over instinct, strength could be asking the question, what within you must be tamed? Let me just bring those in a little closer like that. As we look towards this year's new moon in Leo, we might consider some of the advice David Wells offers us in his guidebook for Path 19, when he says that there might be conditions in our life that are no longer serving us. To make things better, we must tame the beast within or without. Our own personal myths are being confronted, the stories about how nothing will change or how others see us. All these stories are now ready to be shown the door, and we will do it through our own strength. To round this part of the information out, let's also take a look at Yasmin Boland's Moonology card for the new moon in Leo, which has the key phrase, confidence is your key to success. It is the beginning of a new cycle. So this is the background that plays out for every new moon in Leo. But let us draw some specific cards for this particular new moon eclipse in Leo. And the deck that I'm using is Sephiroth, the Spheres of Heaven Tarot. And I've given all the cards a good shuffle off camera, but we'll just give it another shuffle quickly. And let's start by drawing the first card. So card number 1 we have is Major Arcana card number 5, the Hierophant. The Hierophant is also called the Pope in some decks and is considered to be the principle of learning and teaching in the Teth deck. The Hierophant can represent both organized belief systems as well as any group that works in a hierarchy. He represents the values of the group and guidance about working in that setting. He's all about faith, guidance, traditions, and values, as well as the morals that bind society together. But on his shadow side, he can be rigid, stuck in dogma, or blind conformity, or overly dogmatic. Now, there are several different ways his energy could be influencing us right now. For some, it might be time to review our own personal beliefs and values and check whether we are behaving in a way that reflects our values, our true values of today. For others, it might just be a simple message that we don't yet have all the answers and we need to seek out someone who is more knowledgeable. Yet again, it might be a message about whether we need to be or not to be part of a particular group, a set group. After all, groups can be enriching, but they can also be stifling depending on beliefs and circumstances. By taking time to reflect on the Hierophant and feeling into how this card makes us feel with respect to what's happening in our own lives, we will have a better idea of which message represents our own particular situation more accurately. So let's move on to card number 2, which is the card about what are the current challenges, obstacles around this. What's helping, what's hindering. And here, as you can see, we have the 5 of Pentacles showing up. Now, this isn't always an easy card to work with, as it deals with hardships or despair, and these can be major or minor. But while it often represents tangible hardships like illness or physical pain or financial losses or poverty, it can also indicate more of a mental attitude, which might be one of feeling isolated or feeling left out or rejected, or feeling that we can never have enough and that we need and want more. As we consider the energy of the 5 of Pentacles in relation to the Hierophant, and interestingly, both of them are 5s, and the number 5 is about learning lessons, moving forward, being in transition, making changes. They teach us about being adaptable and being flexible and having boundaries and going through transformation. So this might be a time to ask ourselves, what do we value? Do those values reflect who we truly are? Do we need to rethink some of them? We might also want to consider just where we are in terms of being entrenched in the negative. And what do we actually have in our life that we can be grateful for? I'm sure we're all going to find things that we weren't thinking about off the top of our heads. But there's always something to be grateful for if we just look. Moving on to the third card, which is in the position of underlying influences. The things that lie in the unconscious, the subconscious, things we haven't seen yet or haven't yet acknowledged. And we can see here that we have another major arcana card, number 13, the Death card. This card is often seen as depicting the end of a particular phase of life, a time to let go of the old ways of being and embrace a personal rebirth. With the end of one phase in life, it heralds the beginning of a new chapter, a new fresh start. So with death showing up in this position, it would seem that for one reason or another, we have yet to fully accept or acknowledge that life has changed or is changing. It certainly will be changed soon. And we need to stop holding on to the old comfortable ways and let some of them go. That is the only way we're going to be able to fully step forward into this new leg of our journey. For some of us, this might mean asking ourselves if we are finally ready to process and release the pain and grief around loss now. That's the only way we're going to be able to move forward. Unless we can find a way through this process and find ways to let go and embrace change, the Five of Pentacles is going to continue to find ways to hold us back. So, with the final card, let's look at what the advice is for all of this. And the final card we have is the Eight of Wands. A lovely card, often seen as a yes card in many readings. It heralds a new start that can quickly and easily come about. But in order for that to happen, we're going to have to take the actions that we're inspired to take through our review in light of the information given by the Hierophant, the Five of Pentacles, and the Death card. With the Hierophant, the Five of Pentacles, Death, and the Eight of Wands, this new moon reading carries a powerful message about questioning old beliefs and values, releasing what no longer serves us, and finding the confidence to step into a new chapter. Let's draw one final oracle card to round out the cards on the table. And I'm using Colette Baron Reed's Mystical Shaman Oracle. And we just want one card, one card, one card, one card. And the card we have is Earth. This is card number 17, and that adds up to an 8. The 1 and 7 is 8. And of course, the Strength card is also a number 8. So there's a correlation right away. In her guidebook, she says that the essence of Earth is that it represents the gift of life. The invitation is when the Earth symbol appears, it represents a need to focus on reverence and appreciation. The invitation is that when the earth symbol appears, it represents a need to focus on reverence and appreciation for the natural gifts that are coming to you now and always. The concrete world we inhabit is there by the grace of spirit, and we are part of it. Much can be accomplished now when you focus on compassionate, reverent service to the world. If you act with integrity, gratitude, and humility, you will find yourselves more prosperous than you can imagine. Success is assured when the earth appears as an invitation. For me, this card seems to be the exclamation mark of what we have looked at so far this month. I do hope you found this reading helpful and interesting, and I would be very grateful if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others. Sending you all love, light, and many blessings.